So we're developing some next generation Starships, which have a number of improvements versus our current gen. So it's taller, for example, and has a better the interstage between the ship and the booster. You can see that sort of the sort of struts there. That makes it easier for the flame, like that right there. When doing hot staging, which is when we light the ship's engines while the booster's engines are still firing, the flame from the ship engines can more easily exit through the open struts of the new interstage. And in this case, we'll bring the struts interstage back with us instead of throwing it away. So a little more height here, 72 meters from around 69. Propellant capacity, I think we'll probably push that up a little, maybe 3,700 tons. Long term, my guess is we're maybe around 4,000 tons. And about just over 8,000, probably like 8,300. This will keep getting up. My guess is ultimately we're 4,000 tons here, close to 10,000 tons of thrust. But this is kind of the next level, or the next version of the Super Heavy. So the booster will look a little naked on the bottom because the Raptor 3 engines don't require a heat shield. So it looks like there's kind of parts missing, but that's just because the Raptor heat shield does not. The Raptor 3 does not need a heat shield. So it's just standing there in a bathed in flaming plasma. But it's a lot lighter. Yep. Integrated hot stage. I think it looks amazing. And then the ship's a little longer, a little more capable. Moving to 1,550 tons of propellant capacity. And my guess is this probably ends up 20% more than this long term. Yeah, you can see the heat shield is sleeker, so much smoother boundaries. As the boundary of the heat shield going to the leeward side is very smooth. No more jagged tiles. I think it looks very sleek. And this version we still have 6 engines, but a future version will have 9. But with the Raptor 3 again, we have improved reduced mass, higher specific impulse. The Starship version 3 is really the version that is, I think, achieves all of the key elements. I mean, generally with any new technology, it takes three major iterations of any new technology to have it really work well. And this, with Raptor 3 and Starship and Booster version 3, it should be able to achieve all of the things that I just mentioned, which is a rapidly reusable, reliable rocket with orbital refilling. Basically, all of the ingredients necessary to make life multiplanetary will be achieved with version 3 of Starship, which we're aiming to launch for the first time at the end of this year. Yeah, so you can see this is kind of where things are on the left, where things will be end of this year in the middle, and as I was saying, kind of where things will be probably long term. Yeah, 142 meters. So, but the one in the middle will be fully capable of doing Mars, and thereafter it'll be a lot of performance improvements, And as has been the case with Falcon 9, we always end up making the rocket longer and increasing payload. So that's the game plan. Pretty straightforward. But it's important to emphasize, even with the rocket that we'll be launching just at the end of this year, it will be capable of making life multiplanetary, and thereafter it's just about continuing to hone the efficiency and capability of the rocket and reduce the cost per ton and reduce the cost per person to Mars. And like I said, ultimately make it so that anyone who wants to move to Mars and help build a new civilization can do so. So anyone out there, like how cool would that be? And even if you don't want to do it, maybe that you have a son or daughter who wants to do that, or a friend who wants to do it. And I think it would be the adventure, the best adventure that one could possibly do, is to go and help build a new civilization on a new planet. So yeah, ultimately we'll have 42 engines, which it was inevitable. As the prophecy foretold by the great prophet Douglas Adams in his book, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the answer to the meaning of life is 42. And so inevitably, the Starship stack will have 42 engines. And in terms of payload to orbit, what's remarkable is that it's 200 tons of, Starship will have 200 tons payload to orbit with full reusability. So this is twice the capability of the Saturn V moon rocket. The Saturn V moon rocket was fully expendable. Starship is fully reusable, but will have twice the payload to orbit of the next biggest rocket that made it to orbit, which is the Saturn V. In fact, without reusability, Starship would have about 400 tons of payload to orbit. So this is a very big rocket, is what I'm saying. So, but you need a big rocket, to make life multiplanetary. And then along the way, we could do very cool things like have a moon base, like Moonbase Alpha. I think long ago there was a TV show about Moonbase Alpha. You couldn't think about the physics of that too much because apparently like the moon base was like drifting away from Earth. But anyway, we should have a Moonbase Alpha, which is the next step after the Apollo program would be to have a base on the moon. So you could have a gigantic science station doing research about the nature of the universe on the moon would be very cool.